This is Paul Johnson from leadership.dev. Today I'm going to show you how you can start helping your engineering team thrive, not just survive. I'm going to show you a method to build an engineering team that's adaptable to change with individuals who trust each other without you having to micromanage them. And I'm going to show you how to do this while continuing to keep your engineering project deadlines. If you feel like you're surviving but not quite thriving and being all you can be, well, then this video might be the most important ones you ever watch. Because here's the thing, if you don't start investing in leadership development, you're going to start to see some unhealthy culture. And you know what? It's going to feel a little bit harmless at first, or just maybe part of the job. But the thing is, these problems aren't going to go away on their own. The first thing you're going to notice is little tribes are going to start to form within the team. And there's going to be, minor squabbles about who owns this feature or that feature or this piece of code or the other. And the thing is, you as a leader are going to have to spend more and more of your time resolving those kinds of questions. And you're going to be left wondering why it is that you have to step in and why it is that those teams couldn't just work it out on their own. The next thing you're going to notice is that pretty high-level people in your team, principal engineers, directors, are really going to be almost micromanaging the technical work product. And the thing is, these people don't want to micromanage, and you don't want them to do it either. But because of some inefficiencies in your team, they're really left with no choice. And as a consequence, these people that really should be your next generation of leaders don't get developed enough because, again, they're spending all their time managing the product. Pretty soon, what emerges is what I call a hero culture. This is where it takes incredible acts of individual heroism just to keep the product afloat. Look, you might survive this way, but you're not going to thrive. It's really not sustainable to rely on a hero culture. And finally, you may even start to see attrition. Or if not attrition, at least people complaining of burnout. Now, if you're a relatively new or growing team, you might feel like you've got a great culture now, but you have a different kind of worry. You feel like as the team grows, you're just not confident you'll be able to keep that culture, or the culture won't be consistent. And so you're left wondering, what can I do to keep the culture great as it is? And above all, because you, and probably only you, because of the visibility you have, can see these problems, you're left feeling a little bit powerless and a little bit unsure of how you can help your team. Now, here's the big elephant in the room. All of the things I've talked to you about so far are actually in the background. That's right, they're in the background. And not because they're unimportant, but because your primary objective, in fact, your business function and the reason you and your team exist, is to deliver technology, right? It's to deliver the product. And so it's just very easy to just make that your entire life. In fact, what ends up happening is you ride what I call the product roller coaster. You just ride the ups and downs with your team. And listen, you can get very close to your team doing this. Of course, you're going to celebrate those big victories and give a lot of high fives, but you're going to feel like you're never quite ahead of the game. Again, you're going to keep relying on those heroics to stay on the ride. So how do we get out of this? How do we get off the ride? Well, to build a great team, you really need 3 ingredients. The first ingredient is you need trust. Look, every high-performing organization in the world, you can look at the Navy SEALs, you can look at pro sports teams, and you can look at elite tech teams, all have high levels of trust among their members. But the thing is about trust is it doesn't just develop organically very easily. There are ways to accelerate trust and trust building. And the second thing we need are skills, because there are concrete skills we can develop to be more effective leaders and more effective managers. But again, those aren't the kinds of skills that we learn in school. They do require explicit training. More on that later. And the third thing that we need is coaching. Coaching is the key to making sure that those skills develop and grow within the team. If you're not investing in leadership development, it's a little bit like a pro sports team that never runs a practice. I want you to think about that for a minute. Every discussion you have with your team if you don't have a practice is in the pressure cooker of the game, right? Every conversation is about how can we win this one game. You're not really talking about long-term developments. You're not developing any new skills. It's just all about getting that one win. And you can see how in the long term, a team that doesn't practice is not a winning strategy. And the same is true in tech. Okay, so what are your options to do this? How can you start building your team? Well, in terms of the skill building piece, there are a lot of providers out there. I mean, you can look at Harvard Business School. They have a manager training program that is perpetually sold out, and it has great content. The content is not the problem. The problem is it's a bridge to nowhere. It's not solving the trust building piece, and it's not solving the coaching piece. So unfortunately, these programs can be quite dangerous because they end up building cynicism. You have students that go there from your team. They're together with managers from all kinds of different industries across the country, and they probably will come back energized with new ideas, but then they'll just kind of hit a wall because their ideas won't be cultivated or fostered, and so they end up just wondering, why did I even bother? It might surprise you to hear me say this, but the real answer is for you to do this yourself. That's right, have some activities that build trust, have a skill building class, and then coach to success. But that is a heavy lift. Remember, this is all in the background of your day job, which is to deliver the product. And that's where leadership.dev can help. Let me show you our system. Our system has 3 levels. The first level is a core teaching piece. This is where we're going to build the skills that are necessary for leadership. And it's further divided into 3 modules. The first one is about personal development. This is where we're going to increase the self-awareness of leaders by teaching them emotional intelligence and cognitive bias, basically giving individuals a bigger toolbox to draw upon. The second module is core leadership. This is where we teach the systems and the techniques that are key to managing. This is things like how to deliver an effective performance review and how to have critical conversations with low performers and high performers. And the third module is about building teams. This is how we can gain a deeper understanding of culture and how to build it. And we crucially do things like teach people interviewing skills so that you can build a team for the long term. Now, the secret sauce to level 1 is it's done in person, on-site or off-site if you prefer, with a leadership.dev facilitator and your team. And the benefit of that is we can weave in trust-building exercises along with the content with your frontline managers who are in the class. And so at the end of the 3-day session, you've really knocked out 2 things. You've built a lot of trust and you've built some skills. But remember, we don't want to just build a bridge to nowhere. That's why it's important to transition right from skill building into coaching, which is our level 2. Now, in this level, what we're going to do is co-host with you over the course of 6 months a monthly leadership meeting. So this is where the managers are going to get together and discuss whatever leadership or management topics are coming up. So you're going to take the skills you learned from the first level and apply them to real-world situations. In other words, we're going to coach our way through those situations. Now, we do that using something very powerful that engineers love, which is called the leadership backlog. So just like a product backlog, this is where managers and leaders can write down and document things that need to be resolved at a management level. And then you give them that forum once a month to discuss it. In other words, this is how we're going to get off that product roller coaster, at least for that once a month. Now, after doing this with you for 6 months, what we usually find is that it becomes ingrained. People enjoy the meeting and they find it useful, and so they just continue doing it. Level 3 is the top of the pyramid. This is a meeting that we run every quarter that lets us get to longer term issues. We usually do this over the span of a half a day. Now, people love this meeting because in those monthly meetings, you usually can't get to those longer arc issues. And so this gives the team a chance to make some long-term plans for the quarter or for the year. And of course, because we're together for a half day, we can do more trust building and again, raise the level of bonding inside the team. One of the things you'll notice about this plan is that it really uses skills engineers already have. I mean, we're talking about building backlogs, understanding problems, and then jumping into solving them, which is something that engineers love to do. So why not use those skills? And leadership.dev only works with tech teams, and all of our facilitators come from tech. Once you have this system in place, you're going to feel your team start to thrive. For one, because trust levels will be at an all-time high, issues that used to be points of friction will just work themselves out without you having to get involved. Second, Because your managers are going to have more skills, they're going to be more effective at developing the people under them. And third, because you're going to have a deep understanding of how to build culture, you'll be able to really think strategically about how to build your team for the next level. Most of all, you're going to engage with your team in new ways that empower you and empower the team. It's really a win-win. So look, if this is making sense to you, contact me and let's find some time to talk it through about your team. Thanks for watching.